This is the Clapper Loader podcast. And without the Clapper Loader, there are no films. Look, I'm gonna just get started right off the bat. I want to thank all of my 9 subscribers. But I also want to welcome back all of my listeners who are not subscribed. You, I'd hang out with too, but it's easier to do that when you subscribe. So, Spiderman No Way Home. Okay, so, Spiderman. I wrote notes, guys. I don't usually write notes about these things, but I wanted to be thorough. And I also want to be thorough with, there will absolutely be no spoilers in this one. I will go full in with a meaty, yummy spoiler review after this. But this one is going to be spoiler free. And it's really just a discussion about the film and why you actually, as a Spider-Man fan, as a Marvel fan, should see it. Absolutely. And I would say, please, if you are such a fan, go and see this on your favorite large screen. If you have the opportunity to do that, please do. I'm happy with the way I saw it because I was just happy to see it on preview night. And, yeah. So, what do you want to know about Spider-Man? You definitely want to know if it's a good movie or not. Yes, it is. Yes. Again, if you're a Spider-Man fan, you will like this. If you've liked all of the movies so far with Tom Holland, if you've liked No Way Home, if you've liked Far From Home, and if you've liked Homecoming, then you will enjoy this one. Absolutely. What a great trilogy. I know that people don't particularly like the Thor trilogy so far, and they always tend to lean on the last one because it had an interesting infusion. And I would say this trilogy is similar. In the 80s, I was a huge fan of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. And this reminded me of those cartoons without the, obviously not Firestar, Iceman, which I would love to see that. But this Spider-Man No Way Home reminded me of that. And if you are a fan of that cartoon, you will see the resemblance in the banter, in the way they interact with each other. And, I was quickly reminded of that cartoon. So, I'm going to go step by step, just talking about the characters. Again, absolutely zero spoilers. I'm not telling you anything outside of it's a good movie, but we're going to go deep dive into which characters had an interesting arc, in a sense. Obviously, we start with Peter. I remember recently watching a James Bond movie, and it was Sir Roger Moore. And I was thinking how he evolved from Man with the Golden Gun through Live and Let Die, through, The Spy Who Loved Me and Moonraker, and all the way up to, after Moonraker was, For Your Eyes Only. And then there was A View to a Kill. And there wasn't. Bond matured throughout. And I think, obviously, the actor found his sea legs in playing the character. This is the way I felt about Tom Holland and his acting as Peter Parker. I feel like the first one, he was in Spider-Man Homecoming. It was good. Much better in Spider-Man Far From Home because I felt like he was getting a grasp on what the character was. He was actually, if you will, becoming Spider-Man. And there's a title for you, Tom Holland, if you ever want to write your book. Just saying. But No Way Home is actually the first time I feel that Tom Holland has fully become Spider-Man. I feel everything that all of his journeys have had him grow as an actor into the character. So I don't see Tom Holland anymore, which is quite interesting. Because I just like Tobey Maguire. I like Tobey Maguire. I think Tobey Maguire hit Spider-Man right off the bat. And I think it took a little time for Mr. Holland, but I do think that he matured and he is now Spider-Man. And that's good for this movie. Because again, it completes that trilogy perfectly. And next we move on to Aunt May and Happy. Not MJ. I'm getting to her. But Aunt May and Happy, maybe I missed something. I will say this about Happy and Aunt May. Their relationship, at least, is very real world. There is a layer of authenticity to that. So, but I don't know. But nonetheless, it was entertaining. And I think that it's important to showcase in movies that just because people are older doesn't mean that they don't look for hot guys or hot girls, and that they're not attracted to others. Like, that's a misnomer. If you are older, you definitely are attracted to people. And I also like that they were attracted to each other and they were around the same age. None of this reaching back or reaching forward. Because, it again, a layer of authenticity to that. So yeah, I like that part. Ned. Again, the same thing with Tom Holland. I feel like Ned, and I can never pronounce his name properly, so I apologize for that. But Ned, I feel, finally felt like a friend. In Spider-Man Homecoming, I felt that he was so snippety and so snarky, and I didn't like him so much. I felt better about him. A little bit bossy. But I see that personality. And I see why he has that type of personality. And I think that Far From Home explains why Ned is a little snarky, a little pushy. I think that, yeah, it does explain that. But I finally appreciate him being Tom Holland's friend. Tom Holland being Spider-Man's friend here. And he did a fantastic job. Next, MJ. I like Zendaya in this role, and I like her here. MJ and Ned and Spider-Man have all grown into their characters very, very well. Even though Zendaya only had the 2 movies, she still fits into MJ better here than I believe in Far From Home. I think everybody's grown into Spider-Man, into their Spider-Man characters, their Spider-Man personas, and they've done it well. I think maybe they've had some time to work on this, maybe reshoots, but whatever they did, it finally clicked and worked. And they gel with each other much better than I think they did in Far From Home. So, on that note, let's discuss the movie. And again, absolutely no spoilers for you. This movie is 100% fan service. It's about 80% fan service. Like Ghostbusters and The Matrix coming up, Ghostbusters Afterlife and The Matrix. I have not seen The Matrix. Resurrections, I have heard about it, but I'm just going to lean on the fan service. And I don't think this is a bad thing. Why is giving the fans what they want a bad thing? Now, I don't think you should do it at the cost of your project, but I'm going to take this over a bit into Sonic the Hedgehog territory. And if you look at Sonic and remember the crazy, I absolutely loved it though. I wasn't going to see it in theaters, But I love Sonic the Hedgehog, the first rendition of Sonic, where he had like the people teeth. He looked kind of odd. And everyone went nuts and said, I'm not watching this. You need to fix that animation. And they did. They fixed that animation, and the movie was amazing, and it did lots of money for what it could do. And they've got a sequel. And why do they have a sequel? Because they did a little bit of fan service. And that is perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. So, a little bit of fan service goes a long way, because if you want to make more of these movies, you need the fans on board. Initially, with whatever ride you're going to take them on. So, it's not a bad thing. This movie had very, very good ideas. From listening and watching with other reviewers, I'm not a comic book fan, but a lot of people have said that, you know, some of the things that have happened in Spider-Man No Way Home have to do with Peter and the from the comics. Things were taken from the comics. And that's good. I think it's good when you can infuse because I think it's very difficult to go absolutely 100% comics. Because sometimes, as you know with books, when books are turned into films, you cannot take everything beat for beat, word for word. You do have to either add or remove to make the story a little tighter for the consumption. If you're reading a book, you have a lot more time to describe and show and visualize things versus things in a film where it has to be quick. Because you've got, an hour and a half or 2 hours to make sure that you solidify your story. And, yeah, so, very good ideas. And on that note, for my non-spoiler review, I really enjoyed Spider-Man Far From Home. I will see it again in theaters, probably this time in either Dolby or IMAX. And I hope that you go and see it. And I think this would require multiple viewings. And I'm not trying to encourage you to go out to the theater to see it 1,000 times. But I will go back to see it again. It is good. It's very well done. And I'm glad that the extra time that they had to work on this, they made it work. They really made it work. So, on that note, I am going to go and look for more Spider-Man Homecoming tickets. Or Spider-Man Far From Home. It would have been nice if they had done a Spider-Man, re-release of all three in the theater. That would have been fun, a fun party. But I guess I understand why they cannot do that. At the moment, maybe for one of the anniversaries they can. Spider-Man No Way Home is in theaters as of today. This is the first day. This is Friday, the 17th of December. In the US, it's released today. Go and enjoy, have a good time. Leave your comments and thoughts about Spider-Man Far From Home below, and let me know if you enjoyed it. This is the Clapper Loader, and without me, there are no films, but this is a great movie.